Okay, so now we can focus in on the expand and retract mechanism to keep all the cabling internally, leaving this arm free of any loops of wires and things, is to use a ribbon cable. It's a flexible ribbon cable. There's an example here, and this is this particular example is 0.5 pitch, 0.5 millimeter pitch, and this is 8-way, so it's got 8 tracks inside. So what I'm going to do is use this as a flexible link between one end and the other. The adapter that I'm going to be using, I have 2 of these. Now this particular adapter is a double-sided adapter, so it can accommodate 0.5 millimeter pitch, which is what we're using, or a 1 millimeter pitch, which is the one that we don't really want. But anyway, it's a connector, and what it does is you can lift that little lid up, slide the end of the ribbon cable into the connector, and then lock it into place by closing that little gate, and then it's pinned out so the tracks come up and they're spaced out, and I think these are 2.54 millimeter spacings, so they will accept the DuPont or the JST XH series. So I've just narrowed it down, just taken a bit off the sides, and I've removed the 1 millimeter spacing plug off the bottom with it to give me a flat surface, and that will sit nicely in this track. And if you notice, I've left 2 of the original pins a little bit proud, and that fits beautifully over those 2 pins and locks it into position, so it's got a positive location. And the best bit is that you can pull against it, which is what will be important later on. So what I've got to do now is to solder these wires onto that board so that they run down each side. Just about to solder on the wires onto the little adapters, cable adapters. So this is how I plan to terminate the wires. So I've got 8 pins on the adapter, and pin 1 and pin 7 will both be black and they go to the motor. Pin 2, 3 and 4 go to the potentiometer. Pins 6 and 8 to yellows, and they will go to the solenoid. So this is the board, and I've got the first run of wires, which is 3 of them, and they've got to be terminated into the pins. So what I've done is I've pre-soldered or pre-tinned the pads that I'm going to be using, and they are actually, I've used a flux pen as well to get it ready. I've tinned the end of the wires, so I've got to just use the soldering iron, heat up each terminal, place the wire onto the terminal that I want to use. We've got the 7 wires connected to the adapter board, So this is now ready to install into the arm. Got that in position, got the double-sided tape stuck on the bottom side of the profile, and there we are. So that's stuck into position, so it's right up against the underside of that. So that's the plan anyway. So we've got a nice channel there free, and the wiring is tucked away, so everything's terminated. Okay, so we've got the ribbon cable connected into the adapter, so we've now got the circuits connected from here, this point, through to the end of the ribbon cable. So this particular ribbon cable that I'm going to be using is an 8 pin or 8 wire flexible 0.5 millimeter pitch, and this particular example is a same direction, but I actually want a reverse direction, and this is 250 millimeters long. In this instance it's a bit too long, so I'm actually waiting for a 200 millimeter length, which is where the red line occurs. There'll be a difference in length, so that will curl up around itself. Now don't forget, this is inside the outer arm, so there'll be you won't see a lot of this, but it's because it is super flexible and soft, it needs to be held under tension just slightly. So I'm going to rig up a roller that this tape will roll around as it's rolling out, and also when the arm is returned, the roller will keep the tension on the cable and encouraging it to roll around and back again, so it doesn't get kinked or knotted up or caught up. So the next thing we'll be looking at is the return system, or the roller and everything.